Dust is a particle. It's also something that is invisible, yet very visible. It's something that is around us, everywhere, all the time. It's something tangible and at the same time very intangible. Dust was thought for this exhibition as a theme that is dealing with the concept of this matter that is everywhere, that we cannot grasp. So it's not dealing with dust as a material in artworks, but rather taking the concept of dust and looking through artworks of artists that deal with the material or with matters of unclear status.
Wystawa Kurz to wystawa, która poprzez pracę artystów konfrontuje się z przemianami, z takim przeczuciem fundamentalnych zmian zachodzących pomiędzy człowiekiem, przyrodą i technologiami. W pewnym sensie jej charakter takiej przestrzeni, w której miesza się ze sobą to, co należy do porządku sztuki współczesnej, porządku geologicznego czy mineralnego, wręcz z eksperymentem artystycznym i z przedmiotami użytkowymi, jest takim zabiegiem, który ma nam pomóc skonfrontować się z tym pytaniem na takim najbardziej zmysłowym poziomie. Gdzie te zmiany, które są efektem, mówimy tutaj o zmianach klimatycznych, przetasowaniach politycznych, zmianach form, w jakich działają ludzkie zbiorowości, w jaki sposób jesteśmy w stanie tego doświadczyć często na poziomie bardzo lokalnym, bardzo prywatnym, bardzo zakorzenionym w naszym bezpośrednim doświadczeniu.
The work I'm showing here is called Monument to Dust. So I came and I spent around 2.5 months here in Warsaw. And I was very intrigued by the monuments that you find around the city, and more specifically by seeing these maquettes of places that have been destroyed or disappeared after the destruction of Warsaw. So what you could see is a maquette, a little model of a structure of a building next to an empty lot where this building used to be. So I started thinking about this idea of a monument that's praising something that's not there anymore, and praising a time of construction, at a time when things were there. After spending time here, walking a lot around the city, meeting lots of artists, urbanists, architects, I think the city speaks a lot to me. Me coming from Beirut with like a very tense history, the presence of the ruins, the idea of ruins, or the idea of destruction and reconstruction of a city, and to look at all this from a different perspective, which is the Warsaw perspective with its own history and specifically urban history. I think it brought in very interesting and questions, and it opened also my previous research to new questions. I think I have very strong connection now with the city, and I feel it's a place that I would like to come back to again.
have a video installation in this project, in this exhibition called Living Room, and the installation is an image of a wall with traces of objects that used to be in the room that have been left on the wall as a result of dust and pollution gathering behind the furniture. I took this this image or a series of photographs as I was helping my parents move from an apartment that I grew up in Tehran. And once we removed the furniture, there were traces of objects that we had in the room, like the trace of a couch and 2 picture frames that were hanging on the wall. So through Living Room, I recreate the memory of that space. I recreate the space that we lived for many years. The video has a very slow pace, so as you stand in front of it, it looks like nothing is happening, but you see the accumulation of the dust on the walls, and it's about the passage of time and its trace on the wall.
I think a part of pollution is also dust, and in a city like Tehran, it's very, you know, about 15 million people living there, and we have many problems with the pollution these days, so we can dust everywhere. I have represented the 2 phases of the project. The first one is a collection that Khalil Art Institute and I collected from the children between 4 to 18 years old who took photos from the city, that how they can see the pollution. Also, another phase is plants, which is named Zufa. Zufa is a collection that introduced 10 kind of plants which can clean the air for indoor spaces. So if you see, you can push all of this installation that I, made like portable places that any audiences can push it or sit it by the installation and make it atmosphere that they can smell fresh air.
This work is called Dissipation because it really deals with kind of the image just struggling to appear through its own making, and in the sense that it goes towards disappearance. So the next piece will also be using the same ink cartridges used to print this piece, which means that the more I produce this work, the whiter it's going to get, and the more it will disappear in a way. To me, dust is really, even though it's a microscopic thing, it's also very material. It's something that exists, but it's also something very ephemeral. So for me, in my work, I've always explored this relationship between materiality, but also time and temporality, and something that is kind of ephemeral as well. And in this work, this piece is is also very kind of, because it chooses the last of the ink, so it's very sensitive to light, but also it is printed on vinyl, so at the end of exhibition it's destroyed. In that sense, it's a very ephemeral work. It gets destroyed, it's not permanent.
The idea is how can transform a chaotic situation to something else. Maybe the result is also chaotic because of the sound, but there is some data in it. So I use these elements by sending them frequency, make the vibration, and then capturing the vibration, and then transform it to the electricity. I use entropy because I'm using the dead elements. This is the dry roots and dry leaves. So there's no life in these elements anymore, but by forcing energy to them, we can get some information through them. And entropy is the second law of thermodynamics, and in a very simple way it says that from the beginning of our life, we are going to die.
Ta wystawa jest, powiedzmy, pewnym etapem, a nie zakończeniem procesu badawczego, w którym uczestniczą i artyści, którzy wielu z nich stworzyło nowe prace specjalnie z tej okazji, i architekt tej wystawy Krzysztof Skoczylas i współpracująca ze mną Khalil, kuratorka z Bejrutu. Traktujemy ją właśnie jako takie specyficzne, swoiste środowisko, sztuczne środowisko, które udało nam się tutaj stworzyć jako przestrzeń refleksji, jako przystanek na drodze dalszych poszukiwań, a nie ich koniec. To też ważne, żeby wspomnieć o tym, że wielu z tych artystów uczestniczyło w naszym programie rezydencyjnym R-Laboratory, że cały czas prowadzimy program Redirecting East, który jest właśnie takim kuratorsko-artystycznym projektem szukania bardziej horyzontalnych relacji pomiędzy działaniami artystów, aktywistów i kuratorów w miejscach na świecie, z którymi zazwyczaj na co dzień takiego bezpośredniego kontaktu nie mamy. Także ta wystawa w pewien sposób pomaga nam podsumować pewien etap doświadczeń, ale na pewno będzie też kontynuowana w innych miejscach.